You feel like you have a scarlet letter on your chest. You do. You feel like everybody's looking at me because my parents are divorced, because I'm had to move away with my mom and live with her primarily and see my dad every Wednesday and other weekend. There's just a lot. They're seeing other people, and then they have kids, and then you're blended, and then you've got step siblings, and it's a lot as a kid. And you don't realize the weight of it in that time of life because you're just a kid. But you know the embarrassment you feel, and you know the shame you wear and feel as a kid. And that is heavy. And you bring that into adulthood, and that's how I feel. That's how I felt. Yeah, it's deep, right?
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get so deep.
No, yeah. I enjoy these types of conversations because I think they're important for many reasons. Number one, the way technology is nowadays, it's hard for people to just sit down and have these types of conversations.
For sure.
And actually do it intentionally.
It still hits. I don't miss it. It's go, go, go. Like a go, go flow. And I'm almost done. And I told you so. When I throw these flows like it's Rochambeau. And I ain't too close to the Joe Smoke goes. And I'm on my grind. That is all the time. I do not do breaks. That's right. I stay in dry. And look, I'm back with a little bit of that. And a little more cash than it came in with. Ready, that cat is out that bad. But I still ask you, the boy got skills. I don't need her. I don't need him. I don't need help with me. I got this. I can sing songs. I can spit raps. And I can do both. Even do this. Word.
This episode is brought to you by Anthracite Pallet Solutions. Need reliable, durable pallets to keep your business moving? At Anthracite Pallet Solutions, we specialize in new and used 48x40 wooden pallets. Whether you're shipping, storing, or stacking, we offer high-quality pallets that keep your operations running smoothly. With our own fleet of trucks and trailers, we deliver on time, every time. And if warehouse space is a concern, our drop trailer services have you covered. From custom orders to large-scale deliveries, we're here to meet your every need with top-notch customer service and unbeatable prices. We're currently shipping within 2 hours of Scranton, Pennsylvania, including Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Maryland. Call us today at 570-606-9206 or inquire online at anthracitepallet.com and let us handle your pallet solutions. Anthracite Pallet Solutions, built to last, designed to move. This episode is brought to you by Sweat Tent, the pioneers of the portable wood-burning sauna. Did you know that using the sauna 3 to 4 times per week could reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 50% and make you 60% less likely to experience Alzheimer's disease? That's why I've been a big fan of the sauna for years. But having to go to a crowded gym to do it isn't ideal. And all the at-home options are bulky and expensive. That's why I only use the Sweat Tent for my sauna needs. It's the most storable and affordable wood-burning sauna on the market. It not only takes minutes to set up, but it can reach 200 degrees Fahrenheit in 30 minutes or less. So whether you're enjoying it yourself in your backyard, with friends, or in need of a reliable sauna on the go, Sweat Tent is your best choice for the most portable, storable, and enjoyable outdoor sauna experience. All On the Stacks listeners will receive $100 off when you use code OTS. Visit sweattent.com today to get $100 off your purchase with code OTS at checkout. Again, that's sweattent.com to get $100 off with code OTS. Sweat Tent, helping you fire up your home wellness routine. This episode is brought to you by FitAF. If you haven't already noticed, I live and breathe entrepreneurship. Whether it's launching new ventures, attending pitch meetings, or mentoring budding entrepreneurs, my schedule is jam-packed. And that's where FitAF steps in. Their menu changes weekly, offering a variety of chef-inspired meals designed by nutrition experts using only the best quality ingredients, keeping me fueled and focused. Their vast selection of meals has you covered for all types of dietary restrictions and diet plans, including keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, and more. As an On the Stacks listener, enjoy our exclusive offer. Get 20% off your first order of 7 meals or more when you use code OTS at checkout at fitafnutrition.com. Again, that's code OTS for 20% off your first order of 7 meals or more at fitafnutrition.com. Healthy meals and seamless nutrition, keeping entrepreneurs at the top of their game. And we've known each other, just known kind of each other for I don't know, probably a while.
A while, yeah. Social media does that.
Yeah, it does. It's a weird but good thing. I do say, I think, obviously this podcast too, but I mean, social media has a good way of keeping people or keeping us all connected, especially if it's like extended friends or family, or if you want to wait to college and you can still keep, you can still kind of know what's going on in people's lives, but not. And then the other weird part about it is it's also everyone always, there's a flip side to that where it's it's not really what's going on in real life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the part that is not the best, right? The detrimental part is people not living their true reality through it, right? Just kind of surface and what looks really good publicly.
Anything you say, it's like, oh my God, like, is somebody gonna be offended by this? It's all, that's the other thing. It's even when you do post like good stuff, it's like you get criticism from somebody.
Yeah.
Like no matter what.
Yes.
You know, whether it's friends, family, anyone, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's just nowadays with how, a lot of people like think like, oh, well, he just posted on Facebook, so like, why isn't he responding to my text?
Right, I know.
Right? Do you
I get a
feel
lot
that?
of people that I'll send messages to. My best friend actually is a culprit of this. I'll send her a message, and it's like a day later, no response, and she's like active on social media.
It's like, well, wait a second, you just posted 15 stories on Instagram. And listen, I'm guilty of it too. But I guess my point is that like you're allowed to like take some time to respond to a text.
Sure.
And you're allowed to like just go on living your life. And even if that means posting things on social media and not responding to a text, like, I think that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Or it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I think with technology nowadays, it kind of...
everyone expects you to be just, accessible.
And on.
Right.
Like all the
right
time.
Away. Mm-hmm.
And, it's not reality. Mm-hmm. As much as we all like to sometimes, be as in tune and all that, et cetera. And, but which is part of what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
part of me.
Yeah. I mean, me too, obviously. I mean, this whole platform was really built on and around social media, which is always fascinating to me. Because anytime anyone ever asks, like, oh, like, well, how'd this start? I'm like, I don't know. I just posted a picture on Facebook and the rest is history.
Right.
It's like, that's kind of like, obviously I usually do end up explaining like a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that's the short end of it. Everybody's always like, well, like, what if social media, like, not that I don't think it's going to not exist anymore, but like, as it changes, you just go where the attention is.
Right.
Right. I mean, is that like, I'm curious, like somebody like you, who you're kind of obviously in the same, in a similar space, in a similar world. Yes. Just, following the attention, I think is, we did talk about Gary Vee. This was reminded. We weren't talking about this, but this reminds me of a Gary Vee thing, because he always says, like, I don't care, like, if, like, for example, like, he says, I've heard him say, like, oh, like, if Instagram just goes away tomorrow, or for Facebook just goes away tomorrow, or TikTok, like, he's like, I won't care. Like, most people will be devastated. And he's like, I literally don't care. He goes, there'll always be another thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll just go where the other thing is. Right. So I'm curious on, like, your take on a lot of that.
Yeah, I think I tell clients too, even always have a plan B, C, D, just because, if Facebook comes down, which we've had instances, right, where we can't get on Facebook one day and the world is chaotic, or Instagram is down.
Then you just take to another platform, be like, hey, is Facebook down?
Yeah, right. So I think just making sure you have other plans, other directions. I think that certain platforms are bigger now than others. I think, obviously TikTok's a huge one. I think really, funny, I didn't post anything yet, but I just signed up for Threads.
Just now?
Just now. I'm like, where have I been?
Hey, welcome to the party.
Yeah, right. It's like downloading an app immediately to my phone. I'm like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. So. Yeah,
but I'll say, like, when it came out, like, everybody was excited about it. I mean, I was too. I'm not as excited about that anymore. I use it like a lot, like right away. Mm-hmm. I probably haven't used it. Now after this conversation, you're gonna see I'm gonna probably be on it tonight, because now it's fresh. It's in my head, right? I remember when it came out, like, I was all over it, using it a lot, and now I'm not as much. And I'm kind of actually, like, I was on Twitter. I'm not that big on Twitter either, but like, if I were to post like those types, I would take to Twitter to do that, or now X. So I was like on X, but then when Threads came out, then I was like, Threads is cool. I'll do this. And then I was just like, then I got bored with that. And I was like, I'll just go back to X. I guess because it is kind of the same thing.
It is. I feel like it's very much like an X and a Instagram now in
it's
one.
A mesh.
Right, because you're essentially, it's like a Twitter feed.
They had like a baby?
Yeah.
Was that what it would be?
I think so. Like, you have a feed and it's live, and I just kept seeing everyone that I'm following on Threads, and this name comes up, and they're doing this or they're doing that, and they're making really good posts, and it's like, oh my God, I don't have Threads, I can't read the post. So that's why I really signed up for it.
And do you get the note? Like, I'm sure you do too. I mean, I do. I'm sure everybody gets the same. But like on Instagram, you get a notification that says so and so just posted a new thread, and half the time those notifications, I don't even know who the freaking person is.
I know. Yeah. Same.
Is that the same for you?
Yes.
It's like so and so, and I'm like, who the hell's that? Like, why? Like, why am I getting notified about some random person? It's, I want to say random person. It's usually some verified, somebody with a big following. It's never really like a friend that I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually care about what John has to say. It's usually something that's like, just like, I have no clue who it is. As I go and then I click on it, it's like somebody who has like, a couple 100,000 followers. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but thanks for the notification.
For sure. Yeah. But sometimes it's something so profound that you're like, I want to read the rest of this. And I couldn't, because I'm clicking on it. I was like, sign up for Threads. I'm like, oh, okay.
I know.
I'll do it.
I do it every day. Like I said, I get notifications sometimes of some random accounts. I mean, sometimes they are people that I do know, but very rare. It's usually somebody that I don't know. And you can only read like the first like 5 or 6 words. And then I'm like, I'm kind of curious, but I'm not. But I mean, I have the app, but I still don't even, most of the time, I still don't even go. I can't tell you the last time I opened the app, actually. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird thing. I always think, you know what? Did we say this the other day too when we were talking? And I don't know if it was in our conversation the other day, but I think we are the last generation of people on Earth that have lived and understand and know what life is like pre-social media and with social media.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Were we talking about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I started like I told this to like a few different groups of people like the last like few days, just because like I saw it somewhere else and like I was just like, it was kind of like mind blowing when you really think about it. Because I feel like you don't really think about that. But yeah, that is it's mind blowing to know that like we're like the last group of people that we grew up, half, I'll say mostly without it. But then I'll say like, like teenage years and on is when then social media came into our lives. And now, obviously it's everything for the most part. But isn't that like wild?
It is. I mean, I just remember in high school, my biggest thing was having an away message on AIM, like instant message.
Yeah.
Like that was like the biggest thing, having your away message. And then, you go to college and Facebook is huge. And what's Facebook? I got to check this out. And then you start posting like an away message on Facebook. Do you get memories on Facebook of away messages or something that you posted on your friend's wall at the time?
Oh my God.
And you're just like, why did I do that?
Yeah, you look back at some memories and it's like, I don't remember that version of me.
Yes, I know.
But yeah, AIM was what was your screen name?
The first one was Mandy Babe 03 in my graduating year of high school.
Right.
And then in college it was Glitz-star 07. My friend reminds me of that all the time. He's like, hey, Glitz. I'm like, oh God.
Nice. Yeah, I had a few actually. I think my main one was DMX 198. That was obviously a DMX fan. Don't ask me where the 198 came from. It has no significance. Like it's not even like
just sounded cool.
Yeah, it's not even like part of a birthday. Like I don't know where the numbers came from. I think it was like I couldn't find any variation of DMX with some numbers or something that like worked. It was taken. So I somehow settled on DMX 198. I also had, you're going to laugh, ready? I'm already laughing at myself because it's I'm an idiot. I'm Slim Shady 219. That's another classic. Because we all grew up with Eminem, at least our generation. I had a couple others too. My oldest, actually the OG one, this was like America Online when you're sitting at everybody had like that same big like desk probably, right? Like that everyone's family had, in like the living room or the family room, whatever you call it. And you had like the Dell computer, right? That probably came in the cow box, right?
Yep.
So my original, this one's like kind of tricky. It's weird. I don't know who did this, but like my sister did it and like maybe some of my cousins, maybe somebody did. I don't know where like the trend came from. Maybe it was just us. I don't know. But my original screen name, it was my name spelled backwards because I used to be called Billy as a kid, right? Not many people call me Billy anymore. Except for like my mom, maybe, some other people I grew up with. But it was YLLIB. I have to write it down because like I can't. YLLIBOC. I don't remember what the numbers were, but the OC was CO for Corcoran. Yeah. So YLLIBOC and then some numbers. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but I don't remember the numbers.
So funny.
Isn't that weird?
That is. So
yeah.
Things you think of,
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. So I was like, oh, just like spell your name backwards, like in something, and like and that should be your screen name.
I feel like those were our first indicators of creative, right? Of how creative we were going to become in life and what we were going to do as a profession, right?
Yeah, it's wild. AOL, America Online. Used to get the disc in the mail. Chat rooms.
Yes, but like chat rooms.
Yeah, but the away messages were like the thing.
It was.
And it would always be like, hit me on my cell.
Yes.
You had to have said that too, right?
Yes.
Text me on the cell.
Text me on the cell.
Yeah, call me on the cell, right? Yeah. And I know my mom's probably watching and listening and laughing her ass off right now.
Like BB me, like BlackBerry, right? Like
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. BlackBerry Messenger.
Yes.
Oh, man. Everybody had a BlackBerry, and then iPhone came along.
Yes.
But the away message thing was hilarious. And my mom's laughing, she's going to laugh even harder right now because they were like, me and my sister like would leave the computer on. And my mom hated like when we left the computer on 24/7. And we did it because we want, we were each like signed in, right? Mm-hmm. And, because we wanted our away message like to still be visible. So people like, you know what I mean? And my mom would just turn the computer off and like unplug it, and then we'd get in trouble, and then we'd be like banned.
Yes. Yes, I know. And I think that's a way a lot of parents found out some information when we were saving conversations too. Yeah. And leaving our away message up, and people were messaging us saying, "Are you going here?" when you really aren't supposed to know you're going there.
Yeah. My mom I didn't even really think about that until now. I'm sorry, Mom, if you ever maybe saw something,
Yeah.
But hey, we're still here. We made it. Yeah. Whatever happened to all that? It just went away.
I know.
Didn't it?
I know. It just went away. Yeah.
It just
MySpace
stopped.
came, and then that was a huge thing, right?
That's right.
MySpace, Tom from MySpace.
Oh my God.
Whatever happened to Tom?
I think he's still around.
Oh,
well,
really?
I mean, he's still around in a way that he just went off the map. Like, I mean, I see like this. I don't know. It's like it's not really. I mean, it's a meme, but I think it's actually serious. It's like it says something like Tom from MySpace is actually like the smartest person on earth because he built what he built. Sold it, I think it was like $400 or $500 million. Now, again, this was back in like late 2000s, right?
Yes.
So Tom built what he built, sold it for like $500 million, and then just took the money and just then took up his favorite hobby of photography, and that's it. I'm sure he's done some other things, right? But, he's not like let's just take Zuckerberg, for example. Like Zuckerberg, obviously is still very active, and there's been many acquisitions, like Instagram, for example, and all things like that came along. But Tom from MySpace, that guy just took the money and ran.
I know, right? Just gone, disappeared.
Right? He just did.
Yeah.
He's just gone. I mean, his picture is still the same. I don't know what platforms he's on, if he's on.
I know that.
This came up in conversation on the show some other time too, but I forget where we left off with it. Like me and somebody else.
But he was on a platform.
Yeah. Do you know what his last name is?
I have no idea.
Tom from MySpace. I gotta look it up now. Tom from MySpace. Just the Google images that first come up. Obviously, it's still his first picture like this, with the white tee and the black and the dry erase board behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom from MySpace. Oh, Tom Anderson.
Tom Anderson.
I never would have guessed.
No.
Never would have guessed. So he's on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. This is hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
2008, 2018. Look at
Nice.
That's so funny. So Tom from MySpace is he's still kicking it on at least he's on Instagram. But do you remember, I don't know if it was just me, I feel like maybe everybody, I think there was a couple different ways to do it. But when you change the look of your profile, you used to actually have to get the code. You know what I'm talking about? Computer code,
the
copy.
HTML.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, it's kind of mind blowing the fact that we all kind of as kids, we all I don't want to say we were coders, but enough that because I would do it a bunch of different times. I don't like that. Then I would change it again and change it again. Just change it little bit and do it 10 times. So you got it just right.
Right.
But the fact that as all young kids, teenagers, we were doing that, and we had actually no idea that what we were doing. Now thinking back on it, I mean, I didn't know what the hell coding was obviously back then. I doubt anyone our age at that time knew what that was. But we were doing that, obviously not on a high level. But enough.
Think about what kids are knowing now. My gosh, I have a 10-year-old son, and I feel like he's always doing something on the computer, and I'm feeling how are you doing that? Or what did you do?
Oh no, I'm that's one thing I'm not looking forward to is when my kids get, I'll say, old enough, at least to that age where then they start to surpass.
More savvy than you are.
Yeah, and I have to be the parent that's hey, could you fix my computer?
Right.
I think we're probably all going to be there. I think we just have to accept it. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah,
it's getting close.
So what the heck are kids into nowadays?
Oh man.
So at least 10-year-olds. So it was, your oldest is 10.
Yes. So he loves basketball. He plays for a team and a rec team, and he is loves Xbox. I mean, everything is Xbox and PlayStation.
Which is cooler? PlayStation or Xbox?
I think Xbox.
Is it?
It's the Fortnite and the Minecraft, and I know.
Is that like exclusive to? I don't even know because I don't follow.
I think so. I think it is. Those two are pretty exclusive to it. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter and my son, they have computers that'll be up and they'll do Roblox, and I have no idea what that is. But
I've heard of the name, but yeah, don't ask me what. I've always been a PlayStation guy myself.
Yeah.
What'd you play growing up?
So I just played old school, like Mario, and like I remember playing Sonic.
Yeah. Oh my God, on Sega?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sega,
man.
that was the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it came to a point, like I feel like for most people where you either like moved on to the next system, like whether it was like PlayStation and something else, or like you just kind of like phased out mostly like altogether. Like I went from like Sega to, I don't know, N64. And then I think then it was PlayStation, and I never really like had every console growing up, but like sometimes like I would have one and then like skip one and get the next one. But I was like a PlayStation. I was never an Xbox. That's why I was asking about the Xbox stuff. Like I was never like an Xbox person.
Yeah, no, I really don't. I mean, I'll sit with them and I'll kind of make sure things are.
Do you play?
PG. Oh, no. No. My husband does because he was a PlayStation Call of Duty guy.
Oh, see, I was too.
Man, when we first started dating,
I might get another PlayStation. I don't know.
Play it all the time, and I'd be like, come on. Like the one thing that I was like, I don't love this. Yeah, I mean, he must have had a million different versions of Call of Duty. Like every one that would come out. Like discs of them. And I was like, why do you have all this? Can we get rid of this?
I know. Yeah, I had it too, probably like up until like maybe like a little over 10 years ago. I'm not gonna lie, I think about it every once in a while. I'm like, oh, you know what? Like I could play that. It was fun. I could play
something
that again.
to take your mind off of things.
Yeah, because like I used to play online like with my friends. You know, like again, this is even after college. Like as an adult. Like, but yeah, it was. I would play with my friends like after work. I'd come home and it's like, and like some of the guys like I worked with, like we would then be like, yo, you hop it on later, and like we would play. We would play at night after work, and yeah, well, I was always more of a PlayStation person. I don't know why. I always thought it was better.
Right.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this.
Yeah. No.
Because I think at some point though, like not that PlayStation phased out, but it went like Xbox became like the thing.
It did, yes.
But I think it's back to PlayStation now. I could be wrong.
No, it is. There's like a new PlayStation that just came out. What was like maybe a year or two ago?
Yeah. Yeah, actually we gave one away it was a couple years ago. I think it might have been when they around when they came out. PS5 maybe?
Yes.
PS5.
Yes.
But I teamed up with shout out to the Go Getters podcast, another great local podcast. But the two guys, Darian and Kevin, we went halves and bought a PS5 and just gave it away. Like, it was like, you had to like just subscribe to like my show and their show,
right?
And then we gave it away, and it was actually right around Christmas. And then they were like impossible to get.
They were.
And now the price is like half.
Yeah, they were.
I forget the exact amount that we spent on it, but I actually just looked up PlayStations the other day. Coincidentally, it's weird that we started talking about this. And the price is half, I think, of like almost half of what we bought it for.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. A lot of people though too, I feel like people buy things and they buy it like in quantity and then they're reselling it for, twice the price on like Marketplace or.
Yeah. No, that's a thing. Yeah. I had a buddy growing up that's like, he literally like, that's like all he did. He basically bought all of Best Buy and then just sold it all on eBay, made like $1 bazillion. One time, and this might be an exaggeration, I hope I'm not wrong. I'm going to text him after this to clarify, but I apologize if I'm wrong. But I swear to God, one time he showed me a receipt for $100,000 from Best Buy.
Oh my gosh.
It was like a Black Friday thing, but it was like $100,000. And the receipt I think was like 10 feet long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like when I say he was like serious, I mean like, that's how, pretty serious. Yeah. I hope it was 100,000. Otherwise, the story is going to be like totally like a waste.
That's wild.
But like literally, like that's all he like. He did that, and they went online, and whether he sold it in person, online, whatever. But I think it was mostly, it was probably a bit of both. I don't really know that much, but
yeah, my daughter, I remember, was obsessed. Like I think around like 3 with like Cocomelon, and so they had those dolls.
They've been around that long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. And this
wait, I'm sorry, not that long, because this hasn't been that long. How old's your daughter?
She's 6.
Oh, okay, this is only a few years ago. For some reason, I was thinking your son 10. I was thinking.
Yeah. No. So, and the doll, like the boy character, was a big thing, and so they were selling the doll, and I don't forget what it did or whatever, but I remember it like sold out, and then all of a sudden they pop up on Marketplace, and they're like tripled. Like $100 for like, I think it was a $20 maybe less doll, and they were going for like $100, $200.
That's
Parents
crazy.
just wanted them for their kids.
It's kind of like a Furby, right?
Yes.
Like that'd be the equivalent to like the Furbies of our
Furbies,
generation, right?
yes.
I wonder how much they were back in the day.
I wonder.
I don't think they were that much money. I think it was just impossible to get.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. And then like the Tamagotchis.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Keeping your pet alive.
Did anyone ever actually keep it alive more than like a day?
I don't know. I think I did try for a while, but also the Furbies would wake up in the middle of the night, and so I like at one point was like, this thing freaks me out.
Yeah, it's creepy, and like they also kind of looked like what was that movie? Gremlins,
Gremlins,
right?
yes.
Am I the only one that thinks that?
No, they
like I
did.
wonder, like they had to have like whoever made Furbies had to have like made them kind of based on that, in a way.
Yes,
like,
it
there's
was
no way they
very
didn't. It's like almost the same thing.
Yeah, they really did look like Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a scary movie.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever even seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just know I could kind of picture it, like just
Two
some still
movies.
images.
No, there were like 3 movies I think as a kid ruined me seeing. Like Freddy Krueger, definitely one of them. Gremlins and
Chucky?
No, not even Chucky. It was a movie about spiders infesting like a house. I can't remember what it was, but I hate spiders to this day. I could never.
Dude, I think there's a spider right up
Yeah.
damn, I wish I would have known that. I would have definitely put a big fake spider on your chair before you came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like we're going to call this episode like 90s nostalgia.
Is
that
yeah.
Are we in that territory?
Yeah, I
right?
know, right?
I recently also, maybe it's just because like of our age, but I also like just started, there's a lot of 90s like nostalgia, like Instagram and Facebook pages. Maybe I'm just a little behind the times, but
there are,
right?
yes.
I just discovered them.
Yes, there's one girl who's really good at it too.
Really?
I can't think of her name right now, but she's
It's not someone like local, is it?
No, it was
It's just somebody that you just started following?
Some influencer, yeah, and she's really famous for it. I mean, she has all the clothes. She has
so she's like living it.
the phones. Like she just went through her like mom's house and like got all her stuff from when she was that age. And
wow.
yeah, reenacts.
I feel like I threw out like so much. By the way, like I also sold some stuff to my buddy who sold shit online.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like I didn't want to go through the trouble of having, like, because I knew some of the stuff I had, like some like, it was like some old video game type stuff. And I was like, I'm never going to play this again. And I don't regret it, right? But I mean, just in general, some of the stuff I kind of like wish I would have hung on to because it's nostalgic, right? But like I ended up selling like a bunch of stuff to him because I knew it was valuable and he would just go resell. And I was just happy with whatever he gave me because I was like, cool, $200 at the time, whatever, you know? It's in college. I'm like, great, that'll get me through, a month, you know? But yeah, the 90s, I recently started, like I discovered those pages and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's like it's a trip back.
It shows you the access that you really didn't have like to parents, at that time, because I feel like you went out and like that was it until you got back. There's no checking in, no tracking apps on where you are, if you're really where you say you are. Our kids are going to really have it hard now to like sneak out. You got Ring cameras now on your houses,
like everything.
Video surveillance. There's no more sneaking out.
There's no hiding anything, I feel like,
nothing.
Right? They'll find a way.
Yeah, I wonder how
I mean,
they will.
I feel like, your son, he's 10. He's got to be close to the age, not that he's sneaking out, but like close enough in age that he's, there's probably some things that like he, is doing, maybe doesn't want mom to see.
Yeah.
Or like he's starting to maybe think that we're, or again, just doing things. And it's like, I'm sure you probably already had to put like, I don't want to say a stop to anything, but just like
passwords,
parental,
controls.
Yeah, stuff like that. I don't even want to start thinking about that yet.
Yeah, you definitely need them on Xbox because you don't want them in like chatting or, when they wear those headphone systems and they're talking to like random people. I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, how is that like legal, by the way?
Right.
I mean, like now when I think about it now as a parent, I guess I have a different like, mentality, I guess, or, whatever around it. But yeah, like growing up, like it's, again, like I never even thought about that, I guess, when I was a kid. But like looking back on it, or even now, I guess, you could be playing game and you could be playing with kids that are under 10. You could be playing with teenagers, like, or adults. It's it's just a mix of everything.
Right. And there's a lot of, when you have the headphones set in, there's like people cursing in there.
God, yeah.
And it's like, it's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think people just go on there just to do that, like just to like fuck with people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's probably like half the people.
But it's creepy because you think about it, like we didn't really have that access until Facebook, and then someone would friend you that you might not know, but you're like, oh, okay, well maybe they know me, so I'm going to accept it. Now I'm like, I don't know that person. Why are they friending me?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird how times have changed. But again, I don't know where we had gone this whole 90s nostalgia conversation. But I mean, I like it. But I guess because we were talking about like social media and I forget, but how connected like we all
Everybody
are.
is, right.
That's it. It's like, how we're all so connected, but yet we are, but we're not, right? And again, that just, you kind of get into those things again with like, whether it's family or friends where, it's like, oh, well, you didn't like my post. So
I know, yeah.
What's up?
I know. It's always about a like or a love or something.
It's like, well, he only liked it. He didn't love it. I wonder what that's about.
I know.
We're all guilty of it to some degree.
We are, for sure.
Right?
I for sure am. I read into everything. But also, I think when you're in the business of doing it and you're just looking at social media every day, you start to recognize behaviors of friends and maybe other individuals on media. It's almost like therapy of social media. Like you're almost a therapist and you're reading into different people's methods and posts and interactions. But
yeah, it's weird. Growing up too, I think we ended up having an alarm system, but not until like we were like teenagers, like late teens or something maybe. But yeah, it is crazy. Now that you bring it up, thinking back on like how times have changed. Like as a kid, it would just we didn't have to really worry as much. I mean, a little bit of course, but not like it is today. What the hell happened to the world? I know. Just got super advanced, right? Yeah. I keep thinking about our kids and where we'll be. I mean, like for us, I think what's new, like the Tesla and the Tesla truck, right? Like that, it's like the new age, like vehicle technology. And then I wonder what they'll come up with, like by the time, like first, great. My son is, Does he like the Tesla truck? Oh my gosh, he loves it. No. Oh no? I think it looks so I love it. Weird. I see there's one in the back mountain I see all the time. I live at mountaintop and there's at least one or two. I see them sometimes. Don't know who they are. But I don't know. I like them. I mean, I have a Tesla, not the truck. But I'm a fan. So I drove a Tesla car when I was in Florida. And we were on vacation. We got a Tesla and we would charge it. But that was a pain every night charging that car, because then if there weren't enough charging ports at the hotel or whatever. Yeah, so you had trouble? I think, how long ago was that? Like probably 2 years ago. Okay. So I think, and here I'm defending, this is me just defending Tesla right now because I love Tesla. I think it's probably not as much of a problem nowadays. Okay. Probably because, again, back, I know it was only 2 years ago, but I think technology, especially with Tesla, way more advanced. So like they've it's caught up a lot more. And where did you say it was? Florida? Yeah, Orlando. I would have thought even then they would have had more access. I mean, I can see that like around here maybe because there's not a whole lot of access. Like up at Target, there's the charging stations. Right. Other than that, there might be one like Music or somewhere too, but I don't ever use them. I just have them. You just get the thing installed at home. Right. You obviously just charge at home and just use off your own electricity as compared to the stations where you have to pay for it. Similarly, like to gas, I guess. But yeah, like that's one of the things too. Like everybody always asks me, like, oh, like do you ever have like problem like with that? And I'm like, no. At one time, just had some random guy in a parking lot one day. It was like right after I got it, and I've only had it now for a few months or more, so it's still fairly new. Right. One time I got out of my car in a parking lot, and some like random dude just like that was parked like 3 spots over, just like yelled out his window, and he's like, "Yo." I'm like, I just look over and I know he's really talking to me. And I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, you like that thing? And I do. He's talking about the car. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I love it. I'm like, honestly, I'm like, and I mean this, I genuinely mean this. I really think it's like one of the best cars I ever bought. Like, it's just fun and whatever. But, I'm like, yeah, man, I love it. It's great. And he's like, oh, here's the charge. He's like, you have any problems like with like charging it and like and this and that? And I'm like, nah, I'm like, it's good. Like I never like have an issue. I'm like, He's like, aren't you afraid of like running out? And I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm not. And he's like, all right, well, he's like, well, how about this scenario? He's like, he's like, if we're both driving to Florida, and now I forget what he was driving, but he said the year, and I forget what year the car was, but it was old, like really old. It might have been like, I want to say possibly like 20 to 30 years old. And it looked that old too, by the way. It might have been like a Ford, like, I don't know, some type of SUV. But I mean, it looked old, but in decent condition, I guess. Sure. And he's like, well, if we both left right now and we were driving to Florida, he goes, who'd get there first? I said, well, me, because I drive faster. And he's like, well, no. And then he like got all technical. He's like, well, no, you're gonna have to stop he's like, how many miles you get in that thing? I'm like 300. So right then, and that's, I'd say like that's pretty average to, I'll say like a bigger sedan or a car is probably around 300 miles to the gallon, right? So I get about 300 miles on the, battery. And I was like, nah. I'm like, yeah, I'll have to stop. But I'm like, no, I'm just being like a smart. So then he got like real serious about it. Like it almost got like confrontational. And he's like, no, but this thing is so reliable. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, you'd have to stop. I'm like, yeah. I was like, but I'd still. No, I'm just being again. I was being smart. I'm like, yeah, but I'd still beat you. I'm like, I just drive a lot faster and catch up. And like I forget like where it ended off, but like he just kept trying to like talk and like prove the point. And I'm just like, all right. I'm like, cool, man. Like, great. Have a great day. Like,
yeah.
He's like, I've had this thing for 25 years and it's never let me down. I'm like, congratulations. Like, what do you want me to say?
I know, right? So Teslas, it could drive you, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you use that mode often?
Not as much as I thought I would.
Okay.
But I definitely do.
So I just feel like not being in control. Like, is that hard? Like, yeah, because when I'm on a plane, I'm like, wow, because I especially turbulence, like, because you have no,
forget it.
Like, you have no control. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking,
I know the feeling. And we're gonna get to the plane thing in a minute too, because I have to say something. I want to say something about that. But yes, I understand that feeling because I do feel the same way. One of my biggest things, like when I first got in, putting in the self-drive mode, yeah, like, and I'm still even, it's been, I don't know, 5-6 months or something. But I am still, even when I do use it now, I'm still like very cautious. Like almost like I don't fully trust it, but you shouldn't. And it does tell you, like it does give you the warnings. Like you're not supposed to, like you can't just fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, like with there's a lot more safety checks in where like it knows if your hands aren't on the wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it warns you like a few times, and then after X amount of warnings, it actually boots you out. So if you're on a long road trip and you get booted out, you're done for the day. Okay. Like you're put in timeout. Like Tesla actually puts you in timeout, and then you're not allowed to re-engage the autopilot because you didn't follow the safety rules.
Oh, okay.
Meaning like, you know, you kept like, it could tell like when your eyes aren't on the road and or when your hands aren't on the wheel.
Oh, wow.
It actually like alerts you on the screen. It tells you, put your hands on the wheel. Mm-hmm. Make a little motion to like, so that it knows you're there, which I mean, it's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But again, like, yeah, it is one of those things where, yeah, like it's a little bit of like, I don't know if I fully trust it. I mean, I do and I don't, you know? But yes, I can 100% understand and I feel that same way because the same thing like on a plane with the turbulence, forget it.
Oh my gosh.
Forget it.
I know. I am like the biggest freak when that happens. I can't.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, we're dying.
I know.
I'm like, we're dead.
Goes to my mind. I'm like,
oh, we're dead. The wings gonna break off.
I know. And if I'm by myself, I like look at the person next to me. I'm like, what is happening? Like, is this okay? Like, are we gonna like they know, right?
Yeah. But, yeah. Right. I don't know what it is, and maybe there's got to be like some type of, I don't know if it's psychology. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but there's definitely something I feel like behind this concept, right? Of I hate flying. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not a fan of it all. But if I'm flying the plane, and I'm not a pilot, by the way, but like I feel like if I was, I'd be okay with flying, and I think it's because I'm controlling it. Like if I can control the speed and the direction, etc., I'm not nervous about it. Like it doesn't bother me because it's kind of like when you're in a car. Like if you're a passenger in a car and somebody's like going like a little too fast and you get a little anxious and you're like, oh, like you don't matter say anything.
Happens all the time.
You're kind of like, oh, like you're a little nervous. Right? Yeah. Here's my wife. This is my wife.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
So yeah.
She's gonna love that.
On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Elevation Wellness, NEPA's premier wellness center located on Mundy Street in Wilkes-Barre. From pro athletes to busy parents, Elevation Wellness is leading the conversation when it comes to bettering your health through integrative medicine. Founded by NEPA native Louis Helmecke, Elevation Wellness offers physician-formulated and guided treatments that are administered by registered nurses. To learn more about how you can experience the benefits of IV vitamin therapy, multivitamin booster shots, non-invasive aesthetics, or peptide, NAD, red light, and compression therapy, visit elevation-wellness.com or follow them on Instagram at Elevation Wellness NEPA. All On the Stacks listeners will receive 10% off their first purchase with code STACKS at checkout. Call 570-762-9400 or visit elevation-wellness.com to book your appointment today. Elevation Wellness, taking your health to new heights. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn Board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn Board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn.
We rely on the same nursing homes that you rely on. We expect the same care that you expect. When a loved one is neglected or harmed, it's personal because we live here, we raise our families here, we're invested here.
And now we're back on the stacks.
But yeah, it's like, you kind of get that, anxiety. But as the person driving, you're good, right?
Right.
It's not just me, right?
No, my husband will laugh about this. Anytime we're passing a truck, like an 18-wheeler truck or something. Like just because of the stigma of the truck and you think, oh, it's crossing over the line because so many times they are, right? Or they're distracted or whatever's happening, or they're going really fast and you're going really fast. Because he likes to go if it's a 70, he's going 74. If it's 72, he's going a little faster than that. So, but I'm like, oh my God, the truck,
Yeah.
And he's like, it's fine. We're fine. I'm in control. I got this. I'm like, okay. But I feel too, when you're traveling and you're going to sleep and you're taking a break and you're going to sleep and then he's going to drive. I can go the same speed he's going driving and I'm fine doing it. If I'm the passenger, forget it.
Yeah,
you better be going 65 because I can't.
Yeah, no,
handle
agree.
it.
Me too. Me too. I'll say the same thing. If as I'm generally not the passenger. I tend to be the driver in the family, right? Which I'm glad about. My wife, I think, is half glad because she doesn't want to have to drive, but obviously she's like this in the passenger seat.
Right.
I'll take a screenshot of that and send it to her. But yeah, it is. There's just something about it. When you're in control of whatever it is, it's not as bad. Well, it's not bad at all, actually. So that's why I said, I guess if I ever became a pilot, then I wouldn't be afraid of flying as much.
Right. And I don't think I really became super control, feeling even skiing bothers me now. I just, because you have no control, you're just going flying down a mountain. I mean, you can control your speed a little bit, but you just don't know. So that is, but I think after kids, having kids,
I guess, it's a little different.
Rewired me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more you think about now. Not that you were careless before, but no, I 100% agree because, now you have kids, you're more cautious of just everything, not just any one thing. You think about a lot more. You look around a lot more. Do you like roller coasters?
So my son loves roller coasters. We go to Disney and he's wanting to go all these coasters and I'm like, okay, and I'll try it and I'll do it. But the big ones, no, forget it. Even Knoebels, that old one, the wooden
rickety
one.
That's a death trap, by the way. Well, all roller coasters are.
They love it. They'll go on it 100 times. I'm like, no, I cannot do it again. It sounds like it's going to break down. No, I can't. So, but yeah.
I agree on that.
He did the Hulk one, though. He was brave 2 years ago. We were in Universal. I think it's in Universal. He did the Hulk.
Is it is it a big bad one? I don't know.
Oh my God. It looks wild.
100 years.
Yeah. It's just, so I sent my husband on it with them. And I think my nephew and I think my brother-in-law went on it. And he got off that and he was shaken. He was
Did he go on one? Yeah, that was it.
He's like, that's it.
Guy is shook. Yeah. Did he go on one ever again?
Yeah, but they weren't
like that.
No.
Yeah, I don't do roller coasters either. But again, and this is I'm thinking about this a lot right now. If you could drive the roller coaster, if somebody was if you were able to control the speed in the front cart, I would drive it. I think I would. Then I'd be okay with it. I gotta look this up now.
No.
I gotta
talk
to somebody
little
rides,
at local fairs. We have a local fair, and I know I was on a ride with my daughter this past year, and it picked you up and spun you and did all these.
Yeah,
and I was
no, thanks.
get me. I literally was stop the ride.
Yeah, I also think I would get sick. The spinny stuff I can't do.
Vertigo, right?
Yeah, I could do roller coaster if I really want to. I've been on roller coasters before, not a lot, right? But I can't do anything that will make you dizzy. That just really messes me up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if it's not for that, like I said, I could probably handle it. You know, nothing crazy like spinning. Or you know, maybe upside. I don't know. I've never gone upside down actually.
Yeah.
But like I said, if I was driving it, then maybe. But I think there's just a lot of this. I don't know. I want to say this like stems from like childhood trauma. Not saying that because I don't think I was traumatized by anything really around it. But I guess it's just like a fear that like you kind of. I think a lot of it, and with anything, a lot of it like probably stems back to like childhood, like whether you did it or not, like whether you tried it or not as a kid, and it either scarred the hell out of you and you never did it again, or like you loved it and you're like now all of a sudden you're jumping out of airplanes.
Yes.
Would you jump out of an airplane?
No.
I don't think I would either.
No, I thought I wanted to when I was in my 20s and maybe in my early 30s, but then I was like, no. Like the fear, because I always had that dream, that falling dream, you know, where you feel like
and
you're falling
and then you jump in the bed.
Yes,
oh, it's the worst.
Yes. So that was, I was like, I probably shouldn't do that because I will just have that for the rest of my life. And I haven't had that dream in a while. So
yeah, you know what I just looked up? The odds of a parachute not opening.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to know? No,
what is it?
It's actually, I think, worse than I thought.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe it's not that bad. I mean, 1 in 1,000. That's pretty bad, actually.
That's
I
pretty
think.
bad. Why would you do that?
Right? 1 in 1,000. That's it. You're dead.
There's a lot of videos though I come across on like social media, and it'll be like a bungee jump off of like the highest building or bridge or.
Yeah.
Did you see that new thing in New York City, The Rock? On The Rock, like they have that like ride that lifts you all the way up, and it's supposed to mimic the workers when they were working on the skylight.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but no.
Yeah. No. And it like is a whole thing there now.
Yeah.
Which is
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, 1 in 1,000. I think my chances on land are better. Yeah, and there's at least like with like the roller coaster type and I'll say like the plane thing. Like if I was driving or flying it, like I'd be good. Parachute don't matter. You know what I mean? Like doesn't matter if you're going out of the plane. Like you can't really drive the falling out. You're just kind of
right.
You know,
is that like the tandem thing why they have someone go with you so that just in case yours doesn't open, theirs is open?
Yeah. Well, I think like early on, like when you first go, like you have to do that. I think for a certain amount. I don't know because I know a few people have gone, but I don't know like all like the rules. But I think your first like handful of times, like you have to go like with somebody, and then eventually they kind of like take the training wheels off, and then you're on your own. But you have to get like a certain amount of like jumps or something. I still wouldn't do it either way.
No, I mean, that's like right up there with that submarine implosion. Like, forget it. Why would you go that deep in the ocean? No,
like
why?
Didn't they have like billions of dollars?
Yes, like a lot of like
that's just dumb.
Yes.
Right? That's just dumb. Like
no.
For what?
For what? To see the Titanic.
For what? You had to see the same video and pictures that we saw online. Like I guess that's not good enough. I would have been okay with the pictures, especially if I had billions of dollars. I'd be like, yo, just send me some pics, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Just send me the pictures and the videos.
Crazy.
Like, I'll pay for the trip if anybody else wants to go, but like,
never mind.
But
no,
I'll watch it out.
Good. Yeah. To go that deep in the ocean. And God bless the people that took that chance, but
yeah, God rest their souls too, But yeah, that's no way. No way.
No.
That's it's gonna be a no.
Haven't even taken a cruise. Like no, can't do it. I'm too afraid.
So this is welcome to Fear Factor, everybody. By the way, this episode is actually childhood trauma and fear,
spiders,
like Fear Factor,
gremlins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all right. What else are your deepest, darkest fears? I need to know. I need to know them all now since we got on this.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually, my mom. We were talking about the other day about the reason Fear Factor is on my mind. Because we were talking about Joe Rogan.
Oh yes.
And Joe Rogan was, the host. Thinking back to where did Joe Rogan really come from?
Right.
I mean, Fear Factor. I mean, other than that, I know he's like.
I didn't even know that. I don't even remember that. I watched Fear Factor.
Okay.
I had no idea. So you just
that's because I think he was like nobody then.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Joe Rogan, but not like the Joe Rogan today.
Right.
Right. So, he was the host. I mean, I don't know if he always was. I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Literally, we just talked about this the other day. Yeah, I'm sure he's done other things before that. Somewhat as big or to that. But yeah, Fear Factor.
Wild.
Yeah, I think did it get canceled? I think it probably got canceled.
I think so.
Probably because it probably just became too extreme.
Yeah, I think so. Because what can you do after so many?
Yeah, how many how many snakes can you lay in a pit with? And
I know
stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go on that show either. By the way.
No.
It's like one of those.
Gives me like chills thinking.
Kind of like what's it called? Like Survivor or one of those shows.
Oh, yeah.
There was somebody locally that did one.
I think.
I forget her name.
She went to high school where I went to high school, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what her name is? I can't think of it.
Is it Jen?
Jen. Yeah.
Yeah, Jen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Jen. I don't know what her last name is. Jen. I don't know. But anyway, Jen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did do it. Or no, it was Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid. They all blend.
Yes.
They all blend together nowadays. Yeah,
yes.
That's actually even better. Yeah, because she was naked.
Yes.
Naked Jen.
Naked and Afraid. Yes.
Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably not doing that either. It also reminds me of that book. It was probably like a movie or something too. And I'm sure you probably like read it or watched it in high school. And I can't remember the name of it. Maybe you'll think of it. There was like these kids and they were like on an island or something. There was like animals and there was like a pig. Oh. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and I can't remember. I should remember.
Yeah, like that was a really bad explanation, but the fact that you kind of maybe know what I'm talking about. It was like a traumatic thing, I think, for like the kid involved.
Yes.
Right?
Google it. I don't even know what to
I don't even know what to type in, right?
Like to me. Kids on an island.
On an island.
Book.
I mean, it does actually, that's funny. It does guess that. Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Don't ask me any more details other than what I said because I didn't pay attention to anything. I feel like never even read a book like cover to cover until like maybe 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, since you're looking at that, do you remember Spark Notes? Remember Spark Notes?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Now we have like AI. Our kids are getting papers written for them. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
You can just skip right over that.
Yeah.
Skip right over the Spark Notes. The book of, kids about getting stranded on the island. I'm trying to see. Yeah. Plot concerns a group of British boys who are stranded on an uninhabited island. And their disastrous attempts to govern themselves. I'm
not gonna lie, we got a lot through college there.
Yeah,
a lot of literature I had to read, and I was like, oh.
But yeah, nowadays with AI, like it's like, I mean, you can literally have AI write a book for you.
I know.
You can like literally. I mean, I see all these things all the time, and I think some of them are kind of like bullshit. I mean, I'm sure they were. I'm sure it works. Like I get like these ads. I'm sure you probably gotten it too. You get these ads that like you can sign up for this thing, like, and you can have AI help you write a book like in like 7 or 14 days. You can have like a book published on Amazon.
Yes.
Like that's like a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Whether anyone knows that or not, like it is like a thing. In my opinion, you probably have to do nothing but that for like 14 days or however long I forget how long they advertise it for. Like if it's 14 days or 21 days that like you can have it published.
But I just found out Amazon actually, and I don't know, we'll have to look this up to make it real, but 40% they take.
Interesting. Because I've thought about writing a book a million times.
Same. I started one in college,
Did you?
novel. Mm-hmm.
Really?
And I have a lot of it done.
Really?
Yes, a lot.
So you're a
of it.
writer?
I love writing, yes.
What'd you go to school for?
English comm, and I thought I was going to be like a journalist, like Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City at the time.
Okay.
I was going to go to the big city and be a writer and work for Cosmopolitan magazine.
Hey, it's not too late. It might not be Cosmopolitan,
No,
but...
I came home and started writing for the Suburban News at the time.
And you're like, that's it. It's
like,
over.
It's over. But I did marketing. I did like a little bit of a minor in marketing. And I think that having that was huge because it was such a good shift from writing. Obviously, within my profession, you need to know proper grammar and writing and all of that, be able to tell a story because I pride myself on storytelling within marketing for businesses. Yeah. And that's become such a key thing now. A lot of people talk about storytelling. I'm like, no, I want to say that like I was really in NEPA. Like that's my thing. Stop stealing it.
Right. Yeah, it's like I've been doing this forever, people.
Yeah.
So the book's almost finished.
Yeah.
Does anyone know about this?
Yeah, there's some of my friends like definitely.
Can you tell me a little bit of what it's about or no?
So kind of based on like loosely like real things like life, like things that I dealt with or like that I did. But it's kind of like more like, it's kind of like.
So all your fears are in there.
Kind of fears. Yeah. Fears a little bit. I talk about that, but like a lot about relationships and then like how they evolve into other things. And then, where's the end in certain things. And yeah. And
so wait, you started this in college?
In college. Yeah.
And you're almost done with it.
Almost done. I mean, I have chapters, and I started writing it in like a notebook. Because even I was
going to say, where is it? Like, where does it exist? Is it on? Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, in college, you probably had a computer, but at the time, like computers weren't what they were today. Plus,
right. So it all exists on my computer, for sure, like a desktop at home.
Yeah.
And I just work on it here and there. And I think that there's so much in it that's was so real that I'm nervous that people are going to be like
judge you?
And we totally know that this was this person. Oh my God. Because it's like, we come from a small area, NEPA, you know?
Right.
So
it's like as soon as somebody reads that story, they're going to be like, oh, that was John. Guilty.
Yes,
I'm just making that name up.
So I think that's my fear of finishing it, really. It's truly.
Well, I think you should just finish it.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to now because the whole world, maybe just 1,000 people are watching and listening.
Yes.
But you have to finish it.
Yeah.
If anybody is going to hold you accountable, it's going to be me.
Okay, good.
At this point,
do it. I need accountability for sure.
I'll be checking in with you weekly to see how many more pages you wrote.
Yeah.
How close are you?
I don't know. I think I could really wrap it up. I mean, this has been years.
Has anyone helped you with it?
No.
You just kind of just did on your own?
No, as I've gone through life and any experience I've had, I've made it a part of this book. And it's me in my 20s. It's me in my 30s. And now I'm 40. So I've been so my friend's like, what are you doing? You've got to, people, you got to get this out. What? We're going to go to your 50 and then write about your 40s? I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Well, that could be, that could be the sequel.
Yeah, right.
Are books, is it called sequel or is that?
Yeah. Well, no, I keep saying maybe it should be broken into parts, like a Harry Potter is, right? It should be having this part and then you want to read the next one because you got to know what happened, this cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, because you can't just leave us. You can't just end the book at 40 and be like,
I know.
Good luck, everybody.
I know. Yeah.
Right?
There's got to be
has to be
something.
More.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you do obviously need to end it somewhere, but I think there could be a part 2.
Well, I watch movies all the time, right? So especially rom-coms, and I'll see a rom-com or something, and I'm like, man, it starts as a book.
What'd you think you were gonna do with it?
It started as just me keeping a journal, writing, and then as a writer. As any writer knows, you have to use your imagination when you're writing. And so a lot of what's maybe real is super imposed because you want to make it sound better or you want to make it more crafty. You're using imagination and it just became journal. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, no, this is turning into something. This is kind of cool. And I mean, I wrote a book for my son. It's called G's Grand Adventure. And never published it. I had my friend working on illustration. I mean, this was in...
Well, where is it? Did your son...
So I wrote it, and I think when he was in kindergarten, he's now in 5th grade, did nothing with it.
So you just have a digital copy?
Yeah.
Did you read it to him?
Yes, and he loves it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You just don't have he knows it exists. You just don't obviously a physical.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm copy. Held to a standard with my daughter because she is are you gonna write me?
Where's my book? Where's my book, Mom?
Right. And I said if nothing ever happened with that book, that's fine because it's for him and it was special to me to write and it was really all about him and this boy who loses his blanket and bear because that was his 2 main things and even now kill me, but still sleeps with his blanket and bear. Yeah. But has it since he was born. And it he loses it in the story and he goes on this adventure and he's imagining all these things, going up to space to check and see if his blanket and bear is in space. And the illustration that comes with it is super cool. Just never... I don't know. I guess you think, because to you it sounds super cool, right? To me, it's another day.
Well, I am. I am really actually fascinated by it. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I also do I like writing, and I like storytelling. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of what I do here too, just in a different format. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by it. What a great gift. Even if whether you ever print it or not, I mean, obviously your son's gonna remember it for the rest of his life.
Right.
But what an incredible gift to give your kid. Who else has done that? Mm-hmm. Not many people.
No. I mean, I have some friends working on projects that are kind of for their kids or they want it to be for them and kind of be special. So I get it, but definitely it is. If you have the awareness and the talent to do it and you want to do it, if you like to write, you should do that. It's so special. Give it to them on an important date, that they remember it forever.
So you actually finished that one.
That one, yep.
And so, okay, so are these the only 2?
Only 2.
All right. Mm-hmm. For now. This just got really interesting.
Yeah. I got lots of things, right?
Yeah. Well, you're on blast now to finish the other book. I'm never gonna let this go.
I know.
Even if I have to steal from you and finish it.
I think my biggest goal in life would be to finish that and for it to be a big movie someday or a series on Netflix or Hulu. I would love it.
Yeah.
It would be like dream come true.
I like this. I like this where this is going.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So, all right, can you give me a little bit more about the book?
So kind of like about growing up and different things happening, just kind of, with parents' divorce, it talks about that and being like 11 and having to like go to different houses, visiting your dad or like your mom and like having 2 places to sleep. And how, changing schools because, a parent moves out of the district and you're in a different school. And then how kids are mean. You come into a district and kids are just so mean because they don't know you. You're not like from their childhood. So, the gossip that surrounds, especially girls, man, it was brutal. And talks about that and talks about a lot about high school and different experiences and a first love. And then that first love comes and like just takes over your life and overshadows the book in a lot of ways. And then kind of just trajectory from there, college and different relationships in college and how, you met some good friends and then like different things that happened in that. And I do think that a lot of this could be different parts, like, because it really is different parts of a life and you want to keep going. Because I don't know, when I'm writing it and I get to a certain part, I'm like, I gotta like keep going because like this, like there's so much more. But then like you get to a part and you're like, dang, this could be like a really good spot to stop. And then like there's another
Then
book.
you're like, oh my God, but then there's this.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like, it started like I said, journal. Like it's a lot. It sounds like it's journal, but like, again, you're imposing it to become like readable to somebody, for someone to read it and relate.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, it is so relatable. I don't know what the statistic is on like how many, family people have gotten divorced that have kids, like whatever. But my parents are divorced, so I mean, immediately I relate immediately. Just kind of a few or a lot of almost everything. Actually, it is also relatable. And I mean, even if you can't relate to it, obviously people would still find it, fascinating, entertaining, whatever. But that is a very interesting, because when you think back to a lot of those things, like I guess you don't realize that like a lot of other people were going through a lot of the same things that you were going through.
For sure.
Like I guess now, like the older I get, like I reflect more on stuff like that back from, like when we were like, I'll say like kids growing up and all that. Because I think when you're in the moment, like you don't really realize what's happening.
No, you feel like you have a scarlet letter on your chest. You do. You feel like everybody's looking at me because my parents are divorced and because I'm like had to like move away with my mom and live with her primarily and see my dad every Wednesday and other weekend. And there's just a lot. There was just so much that came with that whole thing. And, they're seeing other people and then they have kids and then you're blended and then you've got step siblings. And it's a lot as a kid. And you don't realize the weight of it in that time of life because you're just a kid. But you know the embarrassment you feel and you know the shame you wear and feel as a kid. And that is heavy. And you bring that into adulthood, and it really trajectory of life. That's how I feel. That's how I felt. Yeah. It's deep, right?
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get so deep.
No, yeah. No, I enjoy these types of conversations because I think they're important for many reasons, number one. But also, I feel like, again, I love social media, so this is kind of like a knock on it, but at the same time, I also love it. But with technology, and I've said this so many times before, like with the way technology is nowadays, it's hard for people to just sit down and have these types of conversations.
For sure.
Like, and actually do it like intentionally. Like it's not like, you don't just every day sit down like with a friend or family or really anyone and just like kind of talk about the stuff.
Right.
I just think it's important because I think, first of all, I think it's probably very therapeutic for just to share it. Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I said, everything's just so fast paced moving nowadays that it's, I think it's rare that people have like, and just kind of have these conversations and at length, like it's one thing to, vent for 5-10 minutes to a friend, but to sit down and like really dissect and really talk about a lot of it. I don't know. It's just fascinating to me. I really like deep dive conversations. I think that's kind of the premise of the show, but the point, but genuinely, like, I really do enjoy it. Like, anytime people ask me like, oh, like, well, like, what's your show about? And I'm like, I don't know, a lot, you know? And I've had like every mix of people on. It's just fascinating to actually like talk to somebody for like a longer length of time, you know, more than just a text.
Right. Yeah.
You know, or even a phone call. I mean, that doesn't really exist that much nowadays. Maybe I say like our generation is kind of like on that cusp of it. You either kind of love it or you hate it. But I feel like probably any generation below us probably just hates talking.
Oh yeah.
Right? Would you say so?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you agree?
I think that, you know, I even see it sometimes in my own kids. Like they get so like, you know, stuck on something, a show or a YouTube thing and I'm like, there's like no conversation in the last like 4 hours here. Like, what are we doing?
Everybody's just glued
to something. Like you know, and I saw a lot of that during COVID because I was working and I'm working and they have to do something and they're on tablets or they're doing something. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like, what am I doing? Like, I can't be that, you know, I don't want to be that parent that's like glued to my phone.
Yeah.
Even like something I noticed like I want to say a couple years ago now because they're a little older, but my son texting and driving. I was like, oh my God, my kids are in this car. What are you doing, you crazy person? So look, I try not to look at my phone. I like will put it on like a mode.
Drive mode or whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that all vehicles actually should have something in it that like doesn't allow you to text. Like it takes over power of texting because that's so dangerous. Like
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And also I really stopped because I never wanted them, like when you would be with your parents in the car and, you know, you see them, for me, it's like positioning their hands a certain way on the wheel. I'll just never forget the way my dad drove or like my mom's position of her hands on the wheel. I just won't forget it. I don't know. I could see it now. The way like the leg was near the door, the left leg, and you know what I mean? You just remember. And I think about that and I'm like, you know what they're going to remember? That I'm texting and driving. They think that's okay and they could do that when they start driving. So I try to set the example of like, you know, even sometimes they'll get distracted themselves with something in the back and they're like, Mom, can you open this? Or I'm like, you guys understand, like I'm driving us right now, right? I can't.
Like my son, he'll ask me to pick up a toy off the back floor, like Brayden, like, dude, there's not a chance.
No.
You know?
No.
But yeah, you're right. It's and when you really think about it too, like obviously, you know, my kids are a bit younger than yours, but they see everything.
For sure.
And like, yeah, like you said, like you got to set the example. Like, you know, not everyone's going to be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. But, you know, we'll try our best. When you really think back on it, like, it's like, oh man, like they observe everything. Like you said, there's certain things that you remember. And as everybody does, like there's certain things like you'll remember from your childhood, good or bad.
Right.
You know, they shaped you one way or another. Or it just could be, I don't want to say like they affected you good or bad, but there's certain things you just remember. And I don't know why, right? There's just like weird, everybody has like weird details of things that they remember for, you know, I don't know, various reasons, but like there's just things that kids just don't forget.
Right.
And I'm starting to see that now, like, you know, our son, he's like 3.5. Like he is already starting to repeat back like some things. Like one day he would like say something like a phrase and nothing bad, right?
Yeah.
Only sometimes. But like he'll repeat back like a phrase or something that like myself or my wife said. And it's like, where the hell how do you even know that? Like, and he says it like as if like he understands like what it actually means, and whether he does or not, I sometimes I don't really know. But like sometimes it's so convincing when he'll like say something, I'll be like, damn, he said that right. Like, damn, that was like very convincing, dude. But it's the same thing. Like they remember and they just catch on to those things. Like,
no, I know my daughter loves a very famous musician that we all love and has a following, and Taylor Swift, and she's a Swiftie, like her mom, because I love her too.
Yeah.
But she has some words in her new album, or her, not new, but like most recent, and she'll just say them like, I'm like, oh no,
you can't say
that.
Yeah.
And then like my husband will text me like, she just said the B word, and I'm like, why? And she's like, well, it's in the song. I'm like, well, tell her not to put the clean version on.
Yeah.
So I'm just cautious of that now too, because you can't think that that's just a word you can say at school, like, you know.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I'm a Swiftie by association. I have been to one Taylor Swift concert, and I will say, and I've said this before actually on the show, I don't remember when, but I enjoyed it. I have no shame in admitting that, even though I'm a guy, right? Yeah. So my wife is a huge Swiftie. And yeah, I went to one. I took her to one Taylor Swift concert. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, I don't go out of my way to listen to her.
Yeah.
Do I think she's talented? Yeah, for sure.
I mean, she's way beyond talented, Bill. Yeah. Come on.
All right. Yeah, she is.
But I think too, like if you're a writer and you're into like reading lyrics, like I am. My whole life, I feel like all I've done is like read lyrics and songs.
Yeah, me too.
My husband like will pride me on like how do you know the lyrics to every song you listen to?
I don't know, because I watch them on the screen while I listen to the song.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, Spotify all now makes it super easy to do that, right?
Yep.
I think when you look at her as like a lyricist and a writer and a storyteller in her music, and it is relatable, just like we're just talking about in a book. Like it's so relatable, and she's gone through so many different experiences, and it's amazing that she can tell her life story through music, and because it is so relatable to the world, we love her so much.
Yeah. So I think kind of back to your point, and I understand like when you said this, because we all feel this at some point about something we're doing in life. Earlier when you were saying about writing the book, you said like, oh well, I don't think anyone's gonna find it interesting. Like, it's my shit, whatever. Like it's just me, like no big deal, whatever. But I'm 100% of the mindset that whatever it is, whether it's that or not, or just something else, whatever, even your profession, right? Like everybody always forgets that not what you do is not what everybody else does. And most of the people that I'll say watch you or consume your content, whatever it is in general, or just see you go through life and, in your business and all that stuff. People are, I think, more interested in you than you realize. And I think a lot of people just need to realize that.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a little crazy, but we never give ourselves like enough credit to be like, oh yeah, like this thing I'm doing is actually really cool. And people actually really probably would like to hear it or see it or read it or whatever it is. So I don't know. I'm giving unwanted advice here.
No, but it's so funny that you say that. Literally, it's literally just stems from childhood. Like what you just said is a reactiveness to not feeling
like somebody not like not being interested in you.
Yeah, like you weren't like
there might have been something that happened in your childhood, like whether and it could have just been one time, or it could have been 1,000 times where somebody either put you down or whatever, didn't give you the attention or whatever it is, like when you needed it most. And again, just as we said before, like those are things you never forget. Besides the fact that it's relatable, is that I think people are genuinely curious in what you do. To be honest, it's crazy. I mean, that's how this whole thing started.
It's awesome. Like
it was like I think I said it earlier, is I just posted a photo on Facebook and the rest is history. And I thought nothing. Again, I'm a perfect example. So use me as an example. I'm a perfect example of all I did one day was I just posted one photo of myself sitting on a pallet of paper. And for anyone that's watching or listening right now that doesn't know anything about me or the history or how this all started, and I just to save some time, I'm not going to tell the whole story because I always say long story short, but that never happens. But my point is that I posted that one photo and people found it interesting. That's my point. It's like people found it interesting and I didn't really think it was that interesting, but other people did. And I was like, obviously I was somewhat interested, otherwise I wouldn't have posted it, but I didn't think it would be or become what it became. And it just goes to prove that like you can literally start anything from anywhere, from nothing, and turn it into something. Whether whether it's a book or not, or whether it's a business, or whether it's any hobby that maybe you might have an interest in turning into a business or not. Again, I don't even know what I would even call this podcast before I like say the word side hustle or hobby, but like, it's not like a skateboarding hobby where it's like, oh yeah, like I grew up skateboarding. Like, I didn't grow up podcasting. Everybody's like, oh, it's like cool to see you follow your dream. It's like, well, I don't want to say like this wasn't my dream. I just built it. I think I just heard this the other day too. And I think a lot of people could resonate with this. There was somebody that said like, oh, like I'm lost. Like I can't find, like I've been trying to find myself for so long. I think if you change your mindset and flip your mindset around from I can't find myself or I'm lost, like if you stop thinking that way, and if you just start thinking, like right now, if you just start thinking, instead of trying to find myself, how about I create myself? So most people are always caught up in like, oh, well, I don't know what my passion, I don't know my purpose, this and this and that. Well, just define it. Like literally just create it. I know it's easier said than done, but instead of searching for what you think the answer is, just go do something.
Right.
Like that is the answer. The answer is that you're trying something. But again, I think instead of trying to like find your way or find yourself, start today and just create your story. From today forward, whatever that looks like, doesn't matter. Just start today and just create it.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you're writing that book and you're going to finish it. And I'm getting the first advanced copy. See where this is going?
Yeah.
But no, I think it's almost as simple as that. I really do.
And I mean, I have a lot of friends and even some colleagues, who will, I just happened on Friday night, actually. I was, somewhere and somebody said to me, I was telling them I just took a real estate class. I got to take my test and see how it goes. And, I'm nervous. I got to study again, back in college.
Like you're a kid, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm making flashcards because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of law part of that too, Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, what do you change careers for? You're killing it. You're good at what you do. What do you, are you bored? I'm like, no, I just have a passion for continuing to learn something. I think at this age too, buying property, of course, if we could just buy our own properties and do our own transactions, that's great, right? Yeah, they're they didn't get it because they're someone who's in a trade.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a banker or a lawyer or a doctor,
yeah, you're just gonna kind of do that forever.
Right.
Most likely.
Right. And you chose that and you're good with it. You're happy with it. But for me, I feel every year, couple years, I'm I want to learn more. I want to do more. I want to check different things out. I don't want to just be in one thing forever.
I would 100% agree with that. I mean, I don't know who likes that anyway. That's boring as hell.
Yeah.
It is. And I think if I don't know, I mean, hey, all the power to you if, you're a whatever, a lawyer or you are a plumber and you go through life and you do that for your whole life. Great. Mm-hmm. And I hope you're happy.
For sure.
And all good.
I mean, yeah, some people, they that's what they wanted to do their whole life, right. And they're doing it. And
hey, if you know that,
passion,
and if you're 100% happy with that, and if you could say when I'm 85 or 95 or however God willing long you live, and if you could sit here right now and say when I die, I'm gonna be happy with just doing that my whole life,
right?
And if you can honestly say that, then great. Mm-hmm. But if you can't, then do something different. Mm-hmm. Try different things. Mm-hmm. You don't have to quit what you're doing. You could add something in.
Right.
You could just do something part-time. It could just start as a hobby to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then it could be something or not.
But also that's such a generational thought and process of thought, because when I graduated high school, there was one thing for you to do, and it's you must go to college.
Oh, right.
And you must know what you're going to do at 18 years old for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And when you say that now
concept,
to me, right, as a 40-year-old person who has small children and think about them, I'm never going to expect them to know at 18 years old what they want to do for the rest of their life. I might even suggest to them, maybe if you don't really know, you might want to go take some community college classes and get those out of the way. Because you're going to go into your freshman year of college and you're going to end up being a year 5 student because you have to spend a whole another year there with, getting a degree that you didn't really know you wanted to go when you were a freshman.
What you just said reminded me. So this is forgive me, Jill, for not remembering the episode number, but a few years ago I had Dr. Jill Murray she's the president of Lackawanna College. I had her on the podcast, and one thing that she said, and a lot of these episodes, sometimes there's little one-liners here and there that just stick with me from people that have been on the show, and the one I remember we were kind of talking about that same concept of what do you want to be when you grow up kind of thing, and she said something along those lines, and I can't remember the exact quote, but it was stop saying that to kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? Stop saying that. Stop asking that to kids. Because what the hell do they know? Mm-hmm. They don't know. And her point is exactly what you just said. It doesn't matter whether, you're 5 years old or 15 or even 18 or 25. Hell, I mean, I'm 35 and I feel like I finally think I know what I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. I literally just started my life over. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, But yeah, I think, like I said, she said, it really, some things just really stick with me sometimes, right? And that I think at the time, yeah, because that was probably right around the time. Yeah, it was. I think my wife might have been pregnant with our first, which is Braden. And when she said that stuck with me, mm-hmm. because I think probably because I'm about to be a new dad for the first time, right? But it just stuck with me. No, don't put that pressure on kids. Again, it is a generational thing, right? And I think that's kind of it doesn't really exist as much. I think it still does, but not like it did, I think, when we were growing up, right?
Right.
But she said, like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that to kids, because it's going to do. Like, that's going to be stuck in their head, and they're going to be, they're going to live the rest of their life like, well, I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want to be because I keep getting asked and I don't know what to say. But then I just say one thing, and you know what I mean? Like, it just, again, that could be just one of those things that just sticks with a kid and kind of, I don't want to say like ruins them for them, but it could give you like that anxiety / like trauma, whatever it is you want to call it, that might stick with you for the rest of your life, and it might come back to haunt you because you might be thinking about the time that so and so. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now you're doing something different, and they now as an adult, they're criticizing you for doing the different thing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, why aren't you being the firefighter like you said you were going to be when you were 5? And it's like, well, I don't even remember that. So like, you don't realize how those things like literally will follow you for like the rest of your life, whether you're on the receiving end or not. But it's a fascinating thing. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, so many of our parents and friends' parents, I mean, they were in jobs for like 30, 40 years before they retired. The same job every day for 45 years.
That's crazy.
Right? Like, that's just not my personality. That's why I think I love marketing, and I love working with different people and different businesses, because
it's always changing.
It's always changing.
Yeah. And same thing with the technology. Like I said earlier with the social media, like, oh, if it goes away, like, well, then what? Well, then what's the next thing?
Right.
That's what I like about it too. Like, it's just, again, it's always changing. It's always evolving. There's always something new. And again, just it keeps it fresh. You're not always, dealing with the same people or doing the same thing. It's like, I feel like, at least for me, and I'm sure you could probably agree, like every day is almost totally different.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It's not like, oh, you just come in, you clock in, you sit at your desk, you respond to emails, you make the phone calls, do this, do that, and then you clock out, and then we'll go do the next thing next day. And hey, if you like that and you can live your life like that, great.
Yeah.
Good.
That's awesome.
Good for you. Mm-hmm. Good for you. Not for me. All right. So I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow on that book. No, but in all seriousness, before we wrap up, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you? And then give me a deadline on that book.
Oh, man. So just, my business is Feel Interactive Media, so they can follow me or Amanda Faneck on socials. The book, I mean, definitely a bucket list goal for sure of mine. I have to get over the fear of...
Well, just how about you just do this? How about you set the goal right now of just finishing it? You don't have to release it.
Okay.
Just finish it.
Yeah.
Just do that for yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
For sure.
Just that. And then you can decide if you want to, do whatever after that. But I think maybe just finish it. Mm-hmm. About what year does it... Can you say about what year you think you're going to end it at? I'm just curious.
End it?
Because you're probably still writing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now we're already past 2020. Obviously, there's post-COVID 2020 content in there.
It really centers on specific people coming in and out of your life. It really does. And especially a specific person, just kind of coming in and out and knowing how to navigate that through different stages of life and through marriage and where all that sort of lies.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't know. I guess I've been waiting for a perfect ending. What's the ending of this?
So that
what's the bomb that drops, or what's the what's the next stage of this person? I don't know, or the character, I should say.
Okay.
What's the?
So you're kind of looking for that.
Yeah.
You're still kind of struggling with that ending part.
Yeah, it's really just the ending, because it's got to be solid, because the book it's so not I'm sure people will be like, oh, it's just reading whatever, but I think it's because it's so complicated and weaved in and out of so many years of life. I feel it's just got to have that I want to give it the perfect stopping point.
All right, that there's nothing wrong with that. So so I think the goal.
And of course,
I'm setting goals here for you over here. I'm not telling you what to do with your life.
But work too, kids, distractions, all the things that are happening in daily life. It's also, you're all right. So a random Saturday, I'll sit down in front of it and just ponder and all right. Well, we'll get it done.
Is it fair to say that I think the next goal, just finish it maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you don't, again, you don't have to post it on Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
Just send me the copy so obviously I can.
I know.
But no, I think honestly, I think just
Let's hope we have like Reese Witherspoon producing it, right?
Right. Yeah. Manifest. Write that down too, okay? On the side.
I do believe in manifestation.
I do too. I really do.
It was a new moon last night. I hope you wrote your manifestations down.
Yeah, damn him. Next one. Catch me on the next one, all right? No, but in all seriousness, I'm just encouraging you to at least just finish it. You know, like a friend of mine a while back, like it was a similar situation, but not book, but just it was like, hey, you don't have to. You don't like if somebody like wants to start working out, like you don't have to say like, oh, you haven't worked out in forever, and I'm going to start going to the gym next week, and I'm going 5 days a week. Like you don't need to do that from day one. How about you just start with just putting your gym clothes on? Like think about that.
Yeah.
Like I know it sounds ridiculous. It sounds absolutely ridiculous. Even if you don't go to the gym, at least like you made the attempt. And I'm not encouraging like somebody just to put gym clothes on and sit around. But listen, like if you just put your gym clothes on and then don't do it, at least you did that. That's more than what you were doing before. And I guess it's like a similar concept, right? So it's like you don't have to go, all out 0 to 100. Even though I tend to do that a lot. But instead, you don't have to go 0 to 100. You could just, start off small. And I think, again, like, I'm giving you unsolicited advice here. Welcome to your unlicensed therapy session. Is I think just finish it, like for yourself. And it just kind of, at least it gives you like that feeling of like, I did it. It's done. And then decide what you want to do with it. That's your homework.
All right.
Report back next week. All right. Amanda Faneck, this is the On the Stacks podcast in the Sweat Tent studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
If you want to see more On the Stacks content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/On the Stacks podcast, or search the hashtag On the Stacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.